Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
10 minutes left. Yeah, but there's still some time. It's not the final score. We need more than the numbers we're given. Show us you live and breathe the game. You're more than a name. That's what we came for. We can bring you more than the score. Every story. Let's take this thing off of the field into the real world away from the numbers.
Well, hello again. Well, first time for a long time, really. But welcome to episode 161 of There's Still Time, the AFTN podcast. I'm Michael McCall.
I'm Steve Pander.
And I'm Harjeet Johal.
Busy time for the Whitecaps. We haven't been here for a while. Lots of other commitments.
Work.
Just couldn't be arsed, basically. But there's a lot to cover. Especially tonight, we're recording this at BC Place after the Whitecaps 2-2 draw against an understrength Orlando City side. One of 3 Whitecaps games tonight. Not a great night for the Whitecaps.
This Orlando team essentially was less than an expansion team, I thought. I couldn't recognize any of the players, or very few of the players.
Well, they had 7 first-team regulars missing, including Kaka.
And interim coach at the helm.
And Brett
Yes.
Shea.
But who would have thought that this kind of disappointing but also entertaining draw would have been the highlight of Whitecaps games this weekend. Whitecaps 2 lost 2-0 in San Antonio. Kyle Gregg missed a first half penalty, and then San Antonio came storming back with a penalty of their own and then a late second.
Yeah.
Heartbreak down in LA as the Whitecaps residency were just minutes away.
10 minutes, essentially. Less than 10 minutes.
I think it was 8 minutes away
really?
from lifting their first national USSDA title. Dallas equalised late on, won it in extra time, 2-1 defeat. Heartbroken for the guys. Great season though, 34 games unbeaten. Horrible way to end.
One loss.
Proud of them.
One loss in 90 minutes all season, and 2 overall.
Yeah.
It's. I know it's disappointing, but it's something they should be very proud of.
So that's left me a little bit downbeat, so I'll try and be a bit more upbeat for the rest of the podcast. Hard touching me helps, that cheers me up.
I was just patting you on the back.
It's still touching.
HR.
I guess we'll turn our attentions now to the MLS team.
Yeah, let's start off with them.
2-all draw.
2-all draw. They dropped 2 points to Orlando. Like we said, it was a very depleted team.
It's a barnstormer of a game though.
Yeah, back and forth. Each team led. Each team gave up the lead.
Har, what did you make of it all? I
was thoroughly enjoyed by the match that we saw this evening. Back and forth, lots of chances. A penalty that was terribly missed by Julio Baptista, and then one for, we thought Kendall Wasson was going to earn one for Vancouver. That wasn't.
I didn't want to see that again because it looked like a penalty to me.
I think he got pulled back. I know
a tug on the shoulder, I believe.
If they called it on, I think it was Kudo.
Yeah, but they called it Teixeira last week. So.
Oh, Teixeira. Sorry, it was Teixeira. They called a penalty on him when he went down. I think that was just as much. Maybe Wasson didn't get the benefit of the doubt because of his size and everything like that. But overall, I think should we start off with what goals they gave up?
Yeah, 14 minutes in,
Yeah.
Orlando took the lead. Baptista.
It took
Baptista.
a deflection. I thought it took a deflection of Laba and then off of Alsted's
But
leg and
before
in.
that,
It's definitely one that I still want back.
Howler.
That was horrific.
But before that, you got the Morales giveaway. He was giving away the ball all night long. There was, and then Jordan Smith just allowed the man he was marking to just walk in.
You were left
the
in the
box.
dust on that play.
Yeah.
I'll keep going.
Really, a goal that should not have been conceded by the Whitecaps. A total defensive breakdown, I thought.
Yeah. So what do you think, Lionel?
Not the first defensive breakdown we've seen this season. Not the last defensive breakdown we'll see this season. Not the last one we saw in this game, really.
No, but the thing is, like Hart was saying before, it was a barn burner, right? Like you said too.
Barnstormer,
burner, whatever it was. But should it have been, considering who they were playing and with the roster they were playing, the lineup they were playing?
I know. I mean,
they should have had this. They should have shut down.
That's what it should have been like against Houston.
Yeah,
because they have Giles Barnes.
Yeah. And the thing is RSL, like the game before, we'll talk about the homestand. It was a horrible homestand for 3 games and only getting 5 points out of it.
And Whitecaps are heading away now for 4 games on the road if you include the Champions League game. No. Tough one in Houston, hot. Tough one in Dallas,
hotter.
Hot. Tough one in Trinidad and Tobago, hot again. Then it's okay, they're coming back to Colorado.
Altitude.
Yeah.
And hot.
Yeah, usually hot at this time.
So 3 tough MLS games coming up. I mean, if the Caps get much from that, it's going to be amazing. So you wanted to take games from this homestand. Carl said after the match, targeted 9, got the draw with Colorado. Targeted 7, end up with 5. It is what it is. Disappointing, but he was very honest to admit that the Caps did not play to their full potential today, and basically they put in a very disappointing effort.
That's the second match in a row they've taken until about the 30th minute to really flip a switch and get going. And you can't take a third of the match off before you decide to start to play.
Exactly, no doubt about that. And you were mentioning too, hard before we started recording, that 2 goals out of, especially the goals that were given up, that gave up the points, was a man marked by Harvey at the far post.
Schoberg against Colorado for the tying goal. And then Laren tonight. Obviously, Harvey, not the biggest guy. He can jump,
but he was facing people that were better jumpers.
They crept in behind Harvey, so.
But I mean, Harvey, Robo said afterwards, was the player that he felt had the most energy out there tonight after 3 games in a week, and he does bring that. He hasn't been as good the last couple of weeks, though, as he has been to start the season. First half of the season, he was probably my
MVP.
player of the season.
I would agree with that.
But he's kind of... Does he need a rest?
Yeah, I think a lot of this team
gone
needs
now,
rest.
so it's like he's not going to come in.
They got a new player coming in, and we'll talk about him in a bit. But,
but he's also not up to match fitness
Not
yet,
up to
so
match.
we
He's
have
tired
to
as
have
well.
Harvey.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a couple positives. The goals that they scored.
Sublime free kick.
Yeah.
Great finishing by Masato Kudo, I thought.
Yeah, for sure. Great header. And then obviously Mosquita's goal off the rebound. Put the header in the open net. And that's the kind of finishes that
The right place at the right time and great uncontested
Somebody's in the box waiting for the rebound. And that doesn't happen that often
a
with the
fox
Whitecaps.
in the box, if you will.
Yeah. And how about Kudo? Let's talk about him. His coming back from that jaw injury sooner as well than we expected, really.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be back. Now, good job he is. We have no other strikers.
Exactly. 70 minutes in the, I think, first game, and then 80 plus minutes today.
Perez is out with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
The hope is he might be back for next weekend, but I mean, older bones, it takes longer.
He was not
for things
training
like that
this
to heal.
week.
Yeah, and we're not expecting reinforcements either at that position by what they're saying. Of course,
Well, I think they want to give Kudo a good run and see what they have in him and see how durable and consistent he is. But I still, even with Kudo, I still think you need another guy, and they've got a guy on trial right now. Maybe he could be the guy.
They've got the Mexican dude, as I like to refer to him, because I can never remember his name.
Enrique Escuela.
I keep wanting to say Estrada.
His nickname?
I actually do too.
I know, I keep thinking of Chips.
You think Eric
I always
Estrada?
think of Chips, so to be fair, yeah. Eric Estrada, that's who it is.
A shout out to Jorge Mendoza, who told me that Enrique's nickname is a lollipop guy because he's tall and
sucks?
big head.
Oh, okay.
Lollipop man.
Either way works, really.
I'll be honest, if the signing isn't very good, though, that's just like jokes galore made.
Yeah. So obviously it's a disappointing run so far. Like you said, they're going on the road for 4 games. Where at this point, obviously it's too early to make predictions. Where would reasonable expectations be for the road? For this road trip, how many points out of the MLS games? 0 is reasonable.
I'm expecting 0 in my pessimistic way. I think they'll maybe take something from Houston because Houston are shambles right now.
We know
That's
Houston
the
is
best bet.
shambles.
That's
And
the best bet.
Houston came here and nicked a 1-1 draw with
Yeah.
an interim coach. So
I'll be happy with a point from those. Well, I won't be happy with a point from the 3 games. I'm
think they
fully
at the-
expecting a point from those 3 games.
At the most,
Dallas and Colorado is going to hump them.
At the most, it's going to be 4. I think that's the max they can expect from this.
are they even going to score on Colorado? They got another clean sheet tonight, 1-0 win.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They
Are
scored.
they
They,
gonna score
I think.
at all?
I think they're the only ones that scored on Tim Howard so far, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't.
You
followed
are
through.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there.
I mean, Colorado had only given up 11 goals for the whole season coming in here, and we got 2 against them. So, I mean, that's positive.
They're
Yeah.
a league low 13
We
now.
do play well on the road with our counter-attacking style, which basically we seem to have adopted for home games now as well.
Yeah.
When you look at the possession in some of the recent games, we've been heavily outpossessed.
Yeah, and then the other thing is too, because they're playing Houston and then Dallas 1 week later. So I'm assuming that they would almost do like a mini camp or something like that, and kind of get everybody together away from home, away from the media because they won't be here, and kind of get the boys together one more time.
no.
Once they leave for the Dallas game, they're going to fly to Houston and then fly down to Trinidad for the Trinidad game, come back, stay in Houston for a couple of days, then go to the Colorado. So once they leave for that first Dallas game,
They're not
coming
for a
back
while.
here till after Colorado.
Wow, that's
So a big bonding opportunity.
Exactly, and that maybe that brings the team together. Maybe they, because we never did a podcast after the game, and we really don't want to talk about it. But since the Voyageurs Cup final, where they lost at the death, it really hasn't gone well for them.
I have
No
no
idea what you're talking
memory
about.
of that game.
I figured.
I bet we could.
Well, I wasn't even here, luckily.
I think we should talk about the new Canadians and when we can expect to see them.
Well, yeah, there's
How are they going to do?
A number of signings. Obviously, we talked about Alphonso Davies making his debut.
It's been a busy transfer window, and it's
So
like
far.
often we're not that busy in
No,
the summer.
No, but there's no like. You can't really say impact signing yet, but there's solid signings so far. I think David Edgar will probably be the biggest signing. Of the
Let's
bunch.
look at the first movement, which
Sure.
was Octavio,
Rivero
going back to Chile.
It seemed like it was coming for a while there,
yeah.
even though nothing was announced.
A beneficial move for both parties. A good opportunity for him. Whitecaps get to move on, get some money back. So, kind of a win-win in the long term.
It'll be a win-win if he does well and they sell him on. Right now, you have to think they've financially lost in the deal.
Who knows how much financially they lost in the deal? We'll never know because the fact that MLS's records are so tight.
The rumours were
the-
when he came here that we'd paid $2 million for him,
Yeah.
and the rumours are we've sold him for $1 million.
And he played for 2 years.
Yeah,
So
and
maybe
we've got a
that's
50% sell-on fee.
There you go. And then the thing is if you look at it that way, yeah, it may be a loss. But if they open up a DP spot and maybe they bring in somebody later on to fill in that spot, maybe it does make it worthwhile.
Well, that's something to ask then just now.
Yeah,
We have an open DP spot. We have an open international spot.
yeah,
We've got Eric Estrada training.
yeah.
He's got his motorbike. He's all ready. He is not DP material.
Not at all.
So if they bring him in, it's going to be on a non-DP contract, possibly a 6-month contract, just to see how
That's
he does
the
till
maximum.
the end of the season.
That's the maximum.
Yeah,
I would
take a
give.
look at him.
Yeah.
Would you or do you feel there is a need just now to rush out and fill that DP, not necessarily with a striker, but just to fill that DP role, either with a striker or with what some of the fans are screaming out for, an influential number 10?
It depends on the club's philosophy. Do they want to give this season a serious go into the playoffs, or do they want to kind of build long-term for the future, and how much money do they want to spend now as opposed to the January window? So that's something they have to decide.
For me, it's all depending on the player. If it's a substantial player, then yes, fill it. But if you're not going to get a player who you think is a difference maker at this point, I don't mind giving anybody a 6-month contract, but nothing long term at all. Keep that open spot for next year in January if you need to.
Well, what I had heard before Rivero had gone was that they have a striker lined up for DP, but not till January.
Okay.
They may be able to pull the trigger on him early, but...
And they've done that in the past
Yeah.
with Waston and a couple other guys.
Yeah, Jordan Smith, I mean that...
Jordan Smith, yeah, that was an early coup there.
Yeah, don't mention coup. This isn't
sorry.
a good time to mention coups. We have lots of coups in Scotland, but
I like turkey,
they're
though.
mostly hairy.
Okay, so that was Rivero leaving. Obviously, the guy's coming in. We had 3 players signed. We talked about Davies. Let's talk about him first because he was the most recent one. But what are your thoughts on him coming in?
Well, I mean, everyone is saying that he's the Canadian Messi. Personally, I think if someone can teach him to do his taxes, he's going to be better than Messi.
It could be. So Davies, obviously, he's going to be a fan favorite, but is there too much pressure on him already? Considering they've said that they don't want the press to bother him, but they're advertising him all over the place on the website and social media. And today, after the game, I think he was interviewed on national TSN.
Yep, TSN Perry got him.
Yeah.
And then the media did have a little bit of a scrum. Some of the media got a scrum, and there were quotes on there too about that.
But it didn't look like he was going to be talking afterwards, so that was a bit of a surprise.
Well, I've got his quotes right here, so he was talking.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, what Robbo said on Friday, Har was at training, and I want to just give a big shout out to Har as well. She's really helped me out the last couple of weeks with getting lots of audio to me from
thank
training.
you.
So
Thanks.
just want to thank you for that.
And thank you for the delicious tea cakes you picked up for me.
That is how I reward my girls, with tea cakes.
Excellent.
So what Carol was saying yesterday was that he was asked how do you temper the expectations, how do you manage the media hype, and he doesn't want media hype. Now it's going to be hard because that's what the media do, but this is the argument that I made on Twitter. Media now, a lot of the mainstream media, are clamouring to do interviews with Davies. They want to know more about him, his background, everything like that. They have had months to speak to Alphonso. He was with them pre-season. Mark Weber and myself spoke to him. AFTN got the first interview with him. We did that in February. We knew what a talent they had there from seeing him in the residency.
I said hello to him a couple times.
Yeah. I spoke to him 4 times before he signed for various things that we've done in AFTN and MLS. He's been at every USL game you could go and speak to him. It's like you've had your chance to speak to him, but you only want him now because he's big news, he's signed the contract. What my argument is, the Whitecaps are worried how the media is going to blow it up. These young players, you need to build a trust with them. The Whitecaps need to see that when you do interviews with these young players that you're going to handle them properly. That's what we do at AFTN. We build a trust with the residency. We've done it for years. The guys that come through, they'll spend time to talk to us because they know we're not going to screw them over because we've followed their career and we've shown an interest in them. And that's what people in the media here need to do more. Get out to the residency games, get out to the USL games, get to know these guys before they sign the MLS contract. Then, when they do sign, you're going to know stuff about them. You're going to have things to write about them, and they're going to want to talk to you, and they're going to trust you more. They're going to give you longer answers than the short answers that they end up giving. And that's what we do, and that's what everyone should do. Rant over, drop mic, bye.
Wow. That was fantastic.
Anyway, back to Davies. He came on, played the last 30 minutes of the game today, and he was actually really good.
Yeah,
Electric.
had a couple of moves.
Had some passion, and like Carol said, he felt the team was very lethargic today, but he added a spark.
Yeah.
Came close with a great shot.
I was surprised how much space he had. Didn't look like Orlando wanted to go
And
near the
he's a
kid.
big guy. He
Get
was like
sued or
bowling
something
folk over,
if you touch
and
him.
it's like,
He didn't look out of place at all.
yeah.
And then a couple other, obviously, that's the young Canadian signing. We had a couple of older guys
Yeah,
signed.
got some old Canucks
A
as well.
pair of 29-year-olds, Marcel de Jong and David Edgar.
National team members.
2 defenders, although when Edgar was signed, people kept going on about, oh no, Edgar's not going to play centre back, he's going to be a DM or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
I don't think he's
that's
ever
what he's
played
been doing.
DM.
I don't
He hasn't played
think
for a
so.
while.
He's been doing that under Floro when he was playing under Floro.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's like Carroll has brought him in to be a centre back.
Yeah, I think he...
But he's not fit.
No.
He's going to get some minutes against Crystal Palace on Tuesday. There's going to be a smattering, a few thousand folk there to see it. But he's going to get a run out there and try and get some legs. De Jong made his debut on Wednesday night against Real Salt Lake.
And made some massive mistakes.
Yeah, didn't look good at all. And Carroll said afterwards that he looked tired, so he didn't even come on today. So these guys, they're a good few games away from being MLS match fit. But I mean, you've watched a lot of the Canadian team, you've seen these guys, you've spoken to them. What do you think they're going to add to this Whitecaps team right now?
Well, they're going to obviously add depth and different options with Kakuta Mane out for 8 to 10 weeks and Sam Adekugbe out to Brighton on loan for the next year. Marcel can easily play left mid, and Harvey probably needs a rest, so you can put Marcel at left back. You know, David Edgar's very conversational, take charge kind of guy, so he can maybe be a voice of reassurance and calm besides David Ousted if he gets out on the pitch and centre back.
Is he going to be the new Pamadou Ka?
You mean he's going to play?
Well, I was wondering he might get one of those hoverboards, but they've been recalled.
Well,
so.
when she said vocal, I was thinking maybe Andy O'Brien and
true.
play
That's
that kind
very
of role.
good comparison.
That's a good one.
And I was also thinking that a really quick thought. We'll talk about this another time, but if you got those Parker, Waston, and Edgar,
Yeah.
is it possible that they play 3 at the back?
I'd love to see a 3-5-2, but
they won't.
not like the way that the defence has been playing just now.
Yeah.
With 4 at the back, 6 at the back, really, if you include the 2 DMs, 3 at the back just seems like a disaster waiting to happen.
But if you have Harvey playing as a winger and then he comes back,
I don't think when I spoke to Carol about it before.
Yeah.
He said he'd like to look at 3-5-2, but he would need the right guys going up and down the wing. Now you've maybe got that on the right with Fraser Aird.
If he's healthy.
Whatever's up with him.
Yeah.
Knee injury, we've been told, but he's been out for a long time. Personal issues, then knee problems. Harvey, I'm a big fan of Harvey.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's the guy for a 3-5-2.
And then what about Marcel de Jong? He's a left winger / left back, so maybe he's a possibility. And I think de Jong as well. I think he could be. Maybe he was brought in not only to be the backup left back, but also to be that defensive winger as well, who can be put in to kind of kill a game if they're up by 1 goal. So I think he'd be important in that position, not only playing at left back.
I actually had somebody DM me saying, what's up with these signings? Have the CSA owed the Whitecaps a favour that they're getting the national team guys to come here? But my understanding is both De Jong and Edgar actually reached out to the Whitecaps.
Yeah.
And they like the atmosphere here, they like to play here, there's some family connections.
So obviously those international games that were played at BC Place made a difference. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Kyle Larn might want to come next.
Maybe.
He loves
that
the
could
clean
be our
air up
striker,
here.
yeah.
The clean air, you know. Bobby Murphy, interim head coach.
I was going to say Brian Murphy, but that's the guy that played George Roper in Man About the House and George and Mildred. Yeah, blank looks here. But anyway, Bobby Murphy had made the comment that Kyle Larn loved the clean air here. It's the first thing he said when he got off the plane. So, Kyle, if you're listening to this, highly unlikely, but if you are listening to this, leave that horrible Orlando smog, all the dangerous alligators.
The Mickey Mouse operation there.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse operation. Just leave all that stuff. Come to Canada. Yes, you're not very good at BC Place, but you did score today.
He scored today. We scored 2 goals.
I know. I was joking to say beforehand that he plays crap
money.
here, and then you pointed out he did score for Canada, but that was off his ass.
He mentioned that post-match today.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
But Kyle Larn could be this guy. Like, the danger though of having all the Canadian national team guys is then when Canada play, we've basically lost all our starters.
Yeah.
And you know, we always play when it's International Week.
Oh, of course. Maybe not now. Maybe we'll actually get special dispensation.
No, when the Red Bulls come here, it's International Week.
So,
do you see any more additions in this window? There's still a few weeks to go in the window.
I certainly do.
I think I see one possible one. It needs to be a guy who can play striker and maybe the number 10 role, like you guys were talking about,
agree,
like a
Steve,
combo of that.
Well, I mean, Eric
Estrada, I'm not sure. I don't know if
he can play up front and on the wing. He's really fast on the wing, even without his bike.
I'm not sure if he could punch it up, though.
Oh, maybe not.
But
when the chips are down, he might be the guy that comes through.
He's a lollipop man.
Suck it! That could be his like the Generation X celebration when he scores. Like, suck it! Too sweet.
But obviously,
Bullet Club.
But obviously, it would be vital to get somebody like that. I think just for the attack.
I going back to like what I said, fans are looking for a creative number 10. I do think that should be the next DP.
Yeah.
And something we were discussing during the game, is Pedro still the DP the Whitecaps need?
No.
He is playing hurt. He looks banged up. Harry, you saw him at training this week and you felt he looked quite tired.
I can't believe he played so much today.
I know.
Yeah.
I was
Last 3
very
games.
surprised. I can't believe that was the other thing against RSL. Why would you come up with 2-0 and you come on for 14 minutes? What's the point of that?
I don't know if it was just to loosen him up a little bit or something, but
Loosen him up after the game.
he's had a knee brace on at training. He's got his back issues.
He's got probably that tape stuff, that athletic tape.
You
all
took
over
that
his body.
challenge against Colorado.
Yeah, but we're not seeing the Pedro spraying his balls that I love.
Yeah, he doesn't
Well, he
spray him.
sprayed one to Kudo today. That was nice.
But there's not enough
Oh
spraying.
no, he gave away the ball way more than he
Well,
did.
actually, let's talk about that. The giveaways in the first half today were pretty horrendous.
Yeah.
Jacobson, who's been on a good run, was pretty poor in that first half.
Matthias Laba.
Laba. Well, this was the other thing I was going to raise. We're talking about Pedro being DP. Laba, he is not having a good season for me.
No.
I don't see him being DP quality right now.
Yeah, he's giving away the ball quite a bit.
I
He's
think
out of
it's-
position a lot. I think.
Got subbed off today.
Yeah,
I
at the
think
60th minute, first sub off.
Yeah.
I think that suspension earlier in the season has gotten into his head on what he can
Well,
do
he
in
came
terms
late.
of
He came late
challenges.
to
I
training
agree.
camp too.
I think he's
I agree.
a little worried about what he can go in for a tackle.
Yeah, I think he is worried that he can't be aggressive.
Yeah, good point. So, a couple of other transactions. One that's official, and then one we think might happen. Sam Adekugbe has gone on loan
Yep.
to a championship side.
Brighton and Hove Albion, home of Paul Barber.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot the connection. And then also,
I always wanted him to go to Spain so he could be the Barber of Seville.
if he had, but he'd have to go to Spain and join Seville.
Yeah.
Okay, and so and then another one that's rumored. Is,
Well, I've been spreading the rumours for weeks
oh,
now.
was it you?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, the rumored by AFTN that Keon's might be going on loan too.
He is. He's definitely going to Europe.
But where?
I don't.
Do you think
I
it's
don't
in-
start.
Do you think it's an English side as well, or
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Can't
I don't
say
think
anymore.
it's an England side, and I cannot say more either.
I don't know myself. I think you guys know more
Yeah.
than me.
Pe-
So I'm
pe-
going to keep guessing. I'm going to think.
Think out of the box.
Just stop talking.
It's not Spain for sure. I don't think. I wouldn't say France, Germany. Germany's a possibility.
Well, a lot of Whitecaps guys do end up
Good
in
Germany,
Germany.
yeah. There's connections there. Obviously, with Marius here, Norway might be a possibility if he has connections.
They
there.
sent Hurtado off to Norway.
Yeah, so that's a possibility. So who knows? We'll see.
All I'll say is it's a country that is still in the European Union. No Brexit for him
Okay, so obviously no England,
or Scotland.
Scotland.
Well, we voted to stay in.
Welsh either.
See, the Welsh are funny.
Funny looking.
Wouldn't tell Carol that.
Okay.
No.
Although Robert Earnshaw,
His son is so cute, by the way.
about the same height as you as well.
No, I'm taller.
So last
I
thing.
could say that was below the belt, but folk might think that's a height joke.
So last thing on the docket we should talk about. Obviously, probably the most toughest decision today. Toughest results, or should I say? The U18s, 10 minutes away.
There were some great performances out there.
Yeah. They were in the game.
Yeah.
Aiden Albert, I thought, was spectacular, especially in the late going. Kept
Aiden-
him in the game.
Aiden was fantastic in goal. 2 amazing stoppage time saves. If you haven't seen the game, check that out because Aiden was absolutely fantastic.
I would say
He's got another year in the
outstanding level.
residency programme,
Yeah.
and he's the star in the making. Davy Norman as well.
Oh, I thought he was sprayed the ball around. It was
I,
really good.
I think
at
Aiden's
tackles.
probably taken the man of the match for me with those
Yeah.
saves, but up until those, David Norman was the guy that was my man of the match.
And
Outstanding.
And the
And-
one guy who went out with an injury, the game kind of changed
Yeah.
when he went to Glory Amanda. He clattered with the goalkeeper of FC Dallas, who also went out with an injury.
Yeah.
And when he went out, game kind of changed, and FC Dallas started taking over.
Yeah, I
at
mean,
that point.
Gloria had a great game. He was on
Buzzing all
fire.
around
He
it,
was
yeah.
linking up well. Campbell, we should mention as well. Terran Campbell hit the post in the
header
first
too.
half.
Yeah, could have gone up 2-0 at that point.
And then they had a good chance at the start of the second half as well. So you felt if they'd got the second goal, that was it.
Yeah.
But it just never came. Dallas won 2-1 in extra time.
They
What I
couldn't-
want to
Go ahead.
know,
Sorry.
though, is like the last 2 USL games, there's been 3 members of the under-16 side as academy call-ups.
Yeah.
Nicholas Apostle, Alan Camacho and Joel Harrison. It's going to be interesting to see if they possibly call some of these guys that were playing today in the under-18 game that don't have the USL contracts over the next few games in the summer, because that's what they did with Terran Campbell last year.
Yeah.
He actually played as an academy call-up before they signed him at the end of August.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
Well, I think they were short-handed. They needed to bring some players in, but I was surprised that they even got on the pitch.
Yeah,
but
they did well.
Yeah.
Harrison played twice. Camacho and Apostle played one game each.
Yeah.
But proud of the under-18 guys.
And they were missing players too. Matthew Baldissimo is one of their better.
Yeah.
Like Baldissimo,
He was away
Gardner,
with the
and
USL.
Norman. That midfield that they have is a very strong midfield, and that missing piece could have been the difference.
I think it was.
Can you
It
imagine?
was harsh not to let Baldy see out his time with the residency in that championship game.
I do.
His
believe
brother
that.
played, and it's like the other three USL guys, Chung, Gardner, and Campbell. They played. They kept Baldissimo in the USL games, and it is about development, and they want to see him do that. It's hard, and he sent out a heartbreaking tweet.
Yeah. He was just sorry that he wasn't able to battle with his teammates there at the end.
Yeah.
Another guy, I know he didn't play very much with the U18s this year, but can you imagine what the result would have been if Alphonso Davies did play with him in this game? And I know that
I would have sent him down to play that, but I know that
I know they want to
feel he's
develop.
tested better here, and he did make his MLS debut today, so that
It's
kind of is okay.
Yeah.
But if he had just been training, hadn't signed the contract or whatever, I think that would have been tough.
Yeah, it would have been. So, a quick question to you. We watched the 2012 game as well. What was your comparisons of this team to the 2012 team? It was a solid. That team was very solid too, and I think that team was within 7 minutes of winning, or at least they lost the game in the last 7 minutes or so.
I always hold the class of 2012 up as the best crop of residency talent that there's been. But I think you have to count this current crop as being the best.
Especially with the season they had.
Yeah, 3 times they've been in the knockout stages in 3 straight years. 2 quarter-final losses as U16s, and now a championship game with the U18s that went to extra time. We've already seen 4 of these guys go into the USL. Obviously, we didn't have the USL side for a lot of these 2012 guys to go into, and a lot of them went to Europe. Ben Fisk, Daniel Stanese, Alex Comsia.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be the best crop of talent, and I also think now that these guys have a slightly different attitude, in that they know how close it is because they see the pathway, and I don't think that they're too big for their boots. They see the likes of Alphonso getting his chance with MLS. They see chances that Caden and Terran and Matthew are getting with the USL team, and they know it's close, and they're working hard. They're not showing ego, and I think these guys, they're going to have a really bright future with the club, and I hope they keep their heads up, and I hope they're really proud of themselves, because we're proud of them.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, 1 game lost in 90 minutes all season long. That was one of the
Second
first
game of the
second game
season
of
as
the season. The only 2 losses overall. It's nothing to be ashamed of at all. And these guys, I feel like you said, have come up together from a very young age. There have been a number of people that showed up last year and that have made this team better, but overall, fantastic team, fantastic results. And
Davey Norman and Tommy Garner, they've been with the programme with the prospects since they were aged 9 in 2007.
And the thing is a lot of these. Can you imagine if all these guys played with the team the full year?
Yeah.
Like Tommy Gardner was gone for a number of years. I think Terran Campbell was the only one that was
Campbell
regular.
played some of the most minutes.
Because there wasn't really a position for him at the USL level because they had Greg and Barry.
And he's developed well. He's the top scorer. I mean, he's done really well. But a lot of these guys have been together for 5 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are now moving on to go to university.
Yeah.
And some of them are moving up to the USL team.
So, it's a fantastic.
It's a bright future for the Whitecaps.
Certainly is. It's just finding the places for them to play, and I think this could be where a Canadian Premier League might come in because there's more loan opportunities for them.
For sure, 100%. More minutes on the pitch.
Anyway, we finished a bit more upbeat. I'm more upbeat than I thought I was going to be after watching that. I was really, really down after watching that. But this has cheered me up. This has been therapy.
That's good. I told you it was a good idea to do this.
I'm going to send you a bill tomorrow.
Steve Therapist. That could be your website. So we've ended on a kind of a positive after a mixed month so far for the Whitecaps. Tough stretch coming up. We might be back with a round table. I'm going away for a few days holiday at some point round about all this, so we'll see what happens.
Me too.
But until we meet next time, let's let everyone know where we can find you online. And Har, if there's anything you want to plug, go ahead and plug it.
You can find my work at Red Nation Online and my recent story, my feature on Antonio Notarino of Orlando City and what kind of caused him to get upset with the Orlando fans on July 8th.
Which is pretty shocking. It's actually a must-read. It's
terrible.
Crazy, actually.
And my women's coverage is on Equalizer, of course, and you can see my coverage coming up before the Rio Olympics. On the women's side, we'll have a few articles on D'Angelo and Desiree Scott coming up. And as always, you can tweet me at HardJournalist unless you're one of those crazy Orlando fans.
Steve, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at WhitecapsBeat, and I'll have a couple of pieces to wrap up residency. This year we decided not to do the top 5 during the playoffs. Not for it to be a distraction. We didn't want to do anything like that. So we decided to wait till the end of the year to put that up. So I think the U16s will be on Sunday. The U18s will be on Monday. And the one thing I want to explain about this top 5 is we rated in the article as well. This is just a snapshot of where the players are at this point. We're not saying that this is definitely, although we had a pretty good record of where we put everybody in the top 5 or top 10. But this is just a snapshot. I'll use an example. First time we did it, Ben McKendry was number 7 on our list. And now he's basically so close to getting his MLS debut. So it's possible for somebody who's not even on the list to become an MLS player down the road.
I actually think McKendry will make his MLS debut in one of these road trips.
Road games? I think
I really hope
possible.
so, because he's
Especially
on the
with Laba
bench.
coming off today.
He's not
I personally think Pedro Morales might not even make the initial trip to Houston and might get some treatment here before he goes.
That would kind
I
of
will
make sense.
inquire.
Well, I'm Michael McCall. You can find me online at AFTN Canada on Twitter. Read our stuff away from the numbers, aftn.ca. Also the Whitecaps beat reporter for MLSsoccer.com and the USL Western Conference reporter for USLsoccer.com. So check out my stuff on there. We don't know when we'll be back, but we'll be back at some point. And until then, as always, thanks for listening. Take care, and mon the Caps.
Going to your first match is an experience you never forget. The atmosphere of what's going on around the pitch looks beautiful, and you always look and go, wow, I'd love to play here one day. If you get the bug, it's going to stay with you for life.